welcome to the 8th day family. Here we are today. We're going to ozonate our root vegetable, which is our onion and our garlic, and we got some basil and bell peppers inside of here. Today we're going to make spaghetti. Yes, sorry, you know what? Not spaghetti. We already got the spaghetti noodles already pre-made. What we're going to make is we're going to ground our beef up, and then we're going to make the sauce for the spaghetti. And then we're going to have ground beef. But I'm going to show y'all how to do this here. You know, first, we ozonated the meat. We already did that. Got it right there. See it? Now, we're going to take our meat that we froze. We're going to cut it up, trim it up. Then we're going to show you how we're going to grind it up. Simple procedure that you can do at home yourself. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes, roughly, probably about 20 minutes now that we've been ozonating this here. Ozonator is pretty strong, that's why we got our mask on. You can do everything with the ozonation. It's good on every part of the body except for the lungs. The lungs, they don't like the ozonation. You know why? That's because that's where all the parasites and bacteria and fungus come into your body that you breathe every time you breathe, in case you didn't know. And it will attack those things. Well, typically I would water my plants with this water, but not today. They're nice and wet. Okay. And here is, I can remove our mask now. And here is our meat. This is sirloin beef. Beef sirloin. And that's typically used like a roast beef. Okay. I got saran wrap on my table so I don't get my table all messy. And put something underneath here. I put this little piece underneath here so it don't move. My cutting board doesn't move. That's just a little piece of plastic. If you don't have that, you know what you can use? Wet paper towel or a wet rag. That works just as good. Okay, so now I'm gonna open this here up. Now, you remember when we did this, we ozonated it, and then I threw it in the freezer because I knew I was going to use it at a later time. So, this is it being unwrapped, nice and ozonated, and defrosted. Okay. This is a pretty good sharpener. I've seen some other sharpeners out there that I would like. I just did that backwards. I'll tell you. Start here at the big part, then you go down to the second one. That's a finer. And then this one is the bevel to blade. Same as if you got a steel. Somebody want to send me a nice sharpener? But we would like one. We willing to test it out. We got that one, and we got another one here. This one, I like this one better. I tell you that. I like this one better over the Wooskoff. Chef's choice. I like better over the Wooskoff. Okay? Now we're just gonna find which way the meat is going. It really don't matter. You know why? Because what we want to do is fit the meat inside of this hole. So it's all got to be able to go inside that hole there. So we want our meat roughly around the same size where it can fit into that hole there. Okay. Well, if you ain't got a nice cutting board like I don't, you're gonna have to be patient And careful, or you're liable to chop your finger or a piece of your hand off. Take it from one who knows. I done it on a crappy cutting board before it moved on me, just like this one. But I was at the job at that time, not at home. Putting that right back in the bowl, as cold as possible. I would like it in my freezer, but as you can see, I have 0 room. Looks like I still have more room. Now this is my ribeye. We ozonated this up. And you know what I was supposed to do before I packaged it all up to be frozen and set aside for another day of great eats? Was I was supposed to cut that tail piece of fat off that I typically cook with. But because I am making my own ground beef, I need some beef fat. And this is where we gather our beef fat. Right here now. And it is partially frozen. So, which is good. You want your meat partially frozen anyways. So I'm just gonna slice. Oh, look at there. Look at there. There's still plastic on there. Okay, but we're gonna slice on a bias. Okay? You know what the bias is? It's on an angle. That's all. Okay. I'm gonna use all this fat. Okay. First, I'm gonna wrap up. I am going to need my saran wrap. We have 0 room. Now, as that's happening, we're gonna set our grinder up. Now, if you don't have a KitchenAid, they've got grinders out there for less than $100. If you got a KitchenAid though, you're gonna want this little attachment. And I bought mine at Bed Bath & Beyond. Woo-hoo! And it cost me $60. Hold on, families. Let me get that piece. Now, went to Best Buy and it was $39.99. $20 savings. Remember that. Best Buy is cheaper. So, we're gonna hook this all up, and it's an easy thing. This goes inside of here. This hooks up to this around the square. Then you put your thing on here. This is where the meat passes through. Okay, that's that. Then you're gonna need this piece. You're gonna need this to plunge down your meat. Okay? So, now, we got some scrap piece for hamburger that we had. This is filet mignon and some other, oh, looks like all filet. So pieces of filet mignon, look at there. That's what you're gonna put into your hamburger mix. You can put in whatever you want into it. I love ribeye, and the fat of the ribeye is delicious. So, I continue to use ribeye. We buy ribeye as our red meat and filet mignon as our red meat and the sirloin. Because now that's how we're going to make up our hamburger. Okay? So, this is kind of semi-frozen. And again, we want it semi-frozen. You know why? Because this what we just put in there, that gets to moving around and heat happens. And that heat will happen, and as the heat happens, it'll push out of here, and more heat will happen as it keeps grinding. And what happens when you apply heat to your meat? You cook it. And you don't want to cook it before it's time. So that's why we put our meat back in the freezer to get a little, you know, little chill on it. Little chill on it. So you want your meat as cold as possible. We'll turn this on. Got that going. We're gonna grind fat and meat. Try to grind it up together if you can. Doesn't look like we're gonna do it. So, Put this in here. Look at it coming out, see there? That's what it's gonna look like. And that's only coming out slow because I don't have my thing up high. You see all the fat coming through, that's okay because we're gonna mix it up. We're gonna grind it one time. And make sure you don't got no real long fingers trying to stick your fingers in here because this will take your finger off. I like my fingers. Now you can do any type of meats with this. You can do your ground chicken. Oh, ground chicken is great. We're going to show you that. Ground chicken to make chicken tacos, chicken burgers. All right. Oh, nice job. Make sure you don't do that. Olá, ¿qué pasa, man? What I'm going to do here is I'm going to mix it all up, refrigerate it, hour later, grind it again. Okay? You don't have to grind it. This is a coarse grind right now. And I don't think I'm going to grind it again because this is a nice coarse ground. But if you wanted it just like it is inside of the, comes out of your supermarket, grind it again. And I'll show you a little piece of that there. Okay? Alright. This is what it looks like when you put it in the bag. You got a nice couple pounds of freshly ground hamburger meat. It's all your leftover trimmings from your steak. Your steak, who makes that? This is like a $9.99 pounds, you know what I'm saying? Pound of beef, but you made it. It's beautiful, it's great. It's gorgeous. Alright, so fold your bag down, squeeze down, you get all the extra air out of there. It's almost like vacuum sealing your meat. While that hamburger is freezing up, I'm going to start chopping up my onions, peppers, garlic, basil, and get that going to make the sauce. Simple sauce. You got your canned jars. You could use crushed tomatoes and tomato paste, garlic, onions, basil, and you have your basic marinara sauce. That is basic marinara. You're going to a fine Italian restaurant, that's what they serve you, okay? Put a little salt and pepper and little ingredients in there to change it up. You know, that's about it. That's the marinara. Then you got your bolognese. Now, I'll be right back because I'm going to show you how we're going to make our sauce for the spaghetti that we're going to make. You know, it's a meat sauce. Traditionally, it's called a bolognese. And bolognese is veal, beef, and pork. I'm going to use pork and beef. Okay? Because I ain't got no veal. But everything's ozonated. Everything ozonated. Chopped up our onion. 1 onion, 3 peppers. Oh, it's going to be a little wet, which is actually good for when you're trying to chop up these onions so the skin comes off fairly easy. But the other onion, you just let it dry. And that's it. and to go right back to where it was. Now here's the proper way to dice an onion. Find the back of the onion, the root, keep that to the back. And what you're going to do, you're going to see these lines on the onion, okay? If you can follow those lines on the onion, that is a perfect dice. Don't let your knife go all the way through to the other side, which is the root. Now you really want to get fancy, you come back in with your knife and about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, you can go in 3 places. Go in down here at the bottom, cut all the way back to the back, watch yourself, don't cut yourself, go up about 1/3 of the way, then you go down and cut. Now look, all universal, same size onion. Take that same onion as you cut up, it's going to be stuck on your knife. Now you know how far to go, how deep to go in. Okay? That's it. Then you come down here to the last piece. Keep that little thumb of yours tucked in and you'll be good to go. All nice universal pieces, okay? And that's the proper way to dice an onion. The easy way that I do is I go slice, 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 come this way. Cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it. And they're just about the same size. Okay, now in the kitchen, you cooking professionally, you want to do it the first way. You just at home, you got that rough cut, rustic cut, they call it. Okay, we gonna fry that all up the same anyway, so. And get your pepper. This is what I like to do, is find my pepper. And these lines, remember in these lines of these peppers, they've got this membrane, this white membrane, so I want to stay away from that. So I come around and I cut that membrane out. And I'm staying close to the middle of the pepper. See? I don't want that white membrane or the seeds, but I want all this in the pepper. Discard that. This, come in, cut close to that. Get up on the tip of your knife and cut that out. It has no flavor. Not really. And it don't look good. That's why we cut it out of there. You can leave it on there if you want to. Okay. Get that out of there. That white membrane. You go to somebody's house, they got that white membrane in there. They was either lazy or they don't know. I'm just gonna cut these in strips. Try to cut them around the same size. See how I got my fingers cuffed in and my knife slide off the end of my fingers. Look where my thumb is. It's tucked underneath. You know what my thumb is doing? It's pushing the stuff forward. Then I come around here and there and I just do the same thing. We're gonna pick those up and wash those off. Okay? Same size stuff. Try to make it the same size if you possibly can. And remember, this is going in a sauce that you're really not gonna see anyways. Like now you're not gonna be looking at it, but oh my God, who made this? Another way you could do it, pepper. Take the top part off, slice that right down. Look, now you got that ring left. Move that out your way, discard that. Now you can see where you're going in. Okay? I'll just cut right along those membranes, because that's what's holding the pepper together. Then at the right here, I'm just gonna slice this off. Okay. Pull that out of there. Less waste, but it's more membrane. Get up on it. Get that out of there.
thing. I like to cut the top of the peppers where the skin is, because if you cut the other way it's easier, but if your knife isn't sharp, you're not gonna make a clean cut. Okay. And what I like to do is, when I'm cooking, is think positive thoughts. You know why? Because my hands are an extension of me, and the energy that I have will transfer into this food. Okay? That's why you want to get all the things that's living on the food that's not supposed to be there when we eat it off the food. Okay? All different ways of cutting up your pepper, whatever works for you. Okay? I just don't want nobody to have a big piece of pepper in their mouth. People are critical. Even in your own household. If you got kids, you'll know how critical your cooking is, because your kids more than likely don't like nothing that you cook. At least mine don't. Until they get older, then they're like, whoa, daddy's pretty good. Or they taste somebody else's cooking, and they're like, whoa, daddy's pretty good. So, and last but not least is our garlic. See how that wet, the water got it all loose. You typically don't see garlic like that. Oh, you know what? This isn't the last thing. We gotta chop up the basil, which is crucial in your sauce. For me, it is. I love basil. If you like basil, then you're gonna want to do this too. Fresh basil is great. Okay. Just gonna smash up my garlic a little bit. And I like to leave my garlic whole, just like that. I don't know, we need to crush it all up, dice it up. But the flavor is gonna be there because we're stewing our sauce. Remember, when you cook your sauce, you just don't cook it and it's, open up your jar and it's done. You gotta cook it for a little while, at least an hour. Good hour. You go to some people's house, they gonna cook their sauce all day. All day. And I'm gonna put one more piece of garlic in there. You know why? Because I can. That's why. I like a garlic. I like a garlic, yes. Okay. Now, got our basil. All we want from the basil is the leaf. Okay? And because I bought a lot of basil, I can take my pick of the basil what I want. I am not going to add this basil until the end of my sauce. Well, not quite the end. Let's say we cook it for an hour. I'm going to put this basil in about the last half hour. So, about the last half hour to 45 minutes of your cooking, that's when you want to put your herbs in, your fresh herbs. Put fresh herbs at the end of your cooking. You put dry herbs in the beginning. Why? Because you'll cook out the flavor if you put the fresh herbs in too soon. The dry herbs are dry. The flavor is concentrated, so you want to put that in. Remember, use less dry herbs than you do fresh. Okay? Not unless you want a heavy taste of it or whatever. All right. So the basil, we can do this. I'm gonna show you how they properly do the basil. They call it chiffonade. They take some basil leaves. They take the leaves and then they roll them up. roll them up, okay? Try to roll them up as tight as possible. Then you're gonna do a tight cut, a tight slice. This is a julienne slice because it's slicing long, but they call it shuffle. Okay. And that's, you got your basil long, and that's how they make that basil like that. But I could care less about that fancy look. I'm just gonna come on in here, get all this basil together, and I'm gonna squeeze, bunch it together, and I'm gonna chop. Some of it's gonna be big, some of it's gonna be small, but it's okay. But I do want to make a lot of cuts. And the reason why I'm making a lot of cuts is because I'm letting the perfume out of the basil. That's right, that's what I called it. I called it perfume, the aroma of the basil. That's going to come through in your food. And if you can smell the basil now, you would say, well, it smells pretty good. If you like the smell of basil. You like the smell of basil, cameraman? There you go. Can you smell it, cameraman? All right, see, I'm just not telling you a story. Okay, now we're done with that. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of my waste. I'm gonna start my pan on to go. And the grease I'm gonna use, the oil, the fat that I'm gonna use, it's bacon fat. The pork fat. It's good. Pork fat is good. America runs on hatred and bacon, in case you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So, we like the pork fat. I know it's not good for you, but this is what it is. Let your pan get hot before you add your grease. Let your pan get nice and hot before you add your grease. You're going to saute, okay? Proper way to saute is let your pan get nice and hot, add your fat, a minimum amount of fat, just enough to cover the bottom of the layer, and then you add your ingredients that you want to saute. Quick and fast, that's what you want to do. You want it to make the vegetables translucent. But that's what we're going to do here. And then we'll add our meat, then the sauce, and we'll cook for about an hour, and la 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 la. Now, pan is hot. We're going to add some of this bacon grease. We're going to go right in here with our Now, you know what? I'm not going to be able to saute this. You know why? Because I got too much stuff in here. So what I'm doing actually is braising my vegetables. So I'm going to keep that on high heat because I want to get a lot of the liquid out of my vegetables. Release the liquid, more flavor is going to come out here. You're going to need you some wine. Any kind of wine. This is what my wife is drinking. This is some wine she opened up, and it's probably flat by now. Okay, so now while that's going, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get our meat out of the freezer. I'm going to bring this back on over here. Now, we didn't really actually clean it off. We just got the silver skin off of there. Now what we're going to do is put that back on there. We're going to put the smaller attachment on now. Okay. We're going to wind this back on up. Alright. Switch out this. Turn this on. Oh, before we do that, we're going to grind up this piece of pork here. You know what, people? I really thought I had more pork out, but this is a piece scrap pork tenderloin that I had, and that's gonna go in our bolognese. Probably should have put that through. Now this is what your hamburger typically looks like. We're gonna put that through there again. This is our finished product here. That's why we're doing it twice. This is your pork that we got going in there. You grind it twice because you don't want your silver skin or anything that's in the meat to be tough. You don't want to bite down on that. I know a lot of y'all eat McDonald's and Burger King, stuff like that. You ever get that piece of gristle feel like a piece of stone in your mouth? Yeah, well that's what that is. But it could be stone in your mouth if you eat that stuff. You never know. But here we go with the beef. And this is so y'all can see what it looked like coming through. This is what your ground beef looks like. A lot of that pork is still in there. Okay. You ain't got no burn on it. Maybe a little piece right there on the red. The red got a little burn. That's okay. It'll be good. Look at the bottom. Now, that bottom right there, that's okay that that's burnt like that. You know why? Because that wine, ain't like you just one bias, but that wine gonna deglaze this pan, and that's what we're gonna do before we add the meat. So look at that. See where it's black at? You know what that is? Hey. What's it called when you take the? It's called a F something. Fumage.
When you do what?
When you deglaze and you get that off of the bottom of the pan, it's a French word. Okay, we can't think of it. It's with the F. So we added in our pork and our beef that we ground up twice. Okay, we deglazed first with a little bit of the wine. As you can see, hold on, let's show y'all. Look, no more black on there. See, no more black on the pan. You know why? Because we scraped it all off when we deglazed. Now here's a little bit of black. Look, right there. Now watch how you do it. Look, it just come right off. When that wine is in there, that wine, it just take that right off of there. We got our meat sauce almost with the beginning of the foundation of our meat sauce, our bolognese right here, ready to go. Okay. So we got that going, and we're gonna add our sauce. Again, remember you can add whatever type of sauce you want. You know, I'm not gonna. This is a local vendor. We support our local places. All right. It's because we live in Western New York. And this is what it is. All right. So what I do is I come over, I shake, give a little shake, add it right in there. Okay. Now watch what I do with the rest of this. You want to get all the sauce out of here, so we're going to turn it up just a little bit. Now, I'm going to add a little sweetness to our sauce. A little bit of that wine there. We're going to give a little shake. And we're going to add that to all the other sauces. So we get all the leftover residue of the sauce in each one. And now, another thing that you want to do is use the lids to each one, because it's a little bit on the lids of each one. You're going to get that off there. You know, not unless you just got it like that, you can throw it away. Even if you did have it like that, you still wouldn't want to throw it away. That's how you got it like that. Okay. So we still got our sauce on high. And once this comes to you see the bubbles coming up, we're gonna turn that down to a low and we're just gonna let it go for an hour. That's when you're gonna set your timer, and in a half an hour I'm gonna add my basil. So once this comes to a boil, that's when I set my timer and I'm gonna add my basil. And as you can see all that yellow on the top, that's the fat from the meat. That is flavor town, I'm trying to tell you. This came up to the boil that we wanted. Now we're gonna turn it down to low. Alright, so we're about a little longer than I want it to be. But 20 minutes in, I'll cook the sauce and let this cook for a little while longer. And whenever you add something into your sauce, you always want to turn your heat up. Let that go for a few minutes at a higher heat. It should be a raging boil if you make a sauce when you add another ingredient into it. This way it'll marry a lot better, a lot quicker, and it'll marry evenly. You're gonna be waiting all year for your marriage to get going. So I did not have that happening, but I did turn it up. So we're on the higher. We're gonna keep it stirring constantly because I don't want to burn it on the bottom of the pan. And see how green that basil is right now? I had the clock going we had the clock going for 45 minutes, but it's down to 17 now. But we'll add another 15 minutes to it, so it'll be a nice half hour, 32 minutes. But that basil definitely will turn another color, so it's married on in there, blend in. It's gonna like have a similar color to the sauce. Everything is about the same color in here, even though the meat was brown, but you know, they're married together. The peppers were yellow and red. You can't even see them. Green, garlic, onions. You know what's in there, but you can't see it because it's all married together. And that's what's gonna happen to the basil. See, it's starting to move. Look at it move. Very slightly starting to move. But see, if you don't keep it moving on the bottom, it'll stick and burn. And then you'll have burnt tasting sauce. And you might as well throw it away. Give it to the dog. Maybe the dog eat it. But that's why we're going to keep it moving while it's on a high temperature. As soon as it gets hot, we're going to turn it right on back down, and we're going to constantly stir it too, because as it's cooling down, we don't want it to burn either. So now look, it's popping everywhere, right? So we're good to go now. It's a nice little attachment to have. I'm going to let that go. This way it flows through. The steam goes through here, and it still is able to thicken your sauce without your sauce staying thin. Because the water content is evaporating out of your sauce, which is actually thickening your sauce. And it's concentrate. Look at that nice concentration of your sauce. The thicker it is. But we don't want to get too thick too fast. That'll be, you know, that won't be the proper marriage. We're going to go with this again because it will splash over a little bit. See all the splash around your stove? Come in here with this and get that off. I don't do a good job at cleaning, so thank God for the wife. And she does not a good job at cooking, so thank God for the husband. See, for all you feminists out there, it's like, ain't she do is clean. Wrong. That ain't all she do, goddammit. Just playing. And we're just gonna let that go. We're gonna reset our timer. I'll stop the timer. Let's see, 29 minutes. Then we'll make our noodles, and the sauce will be, ooh la la la. It'll be dinner time to serve. Okay? Alright. So I'm gonna add my noodles to boiling water. If you make your own noodles, that's beautiful. If you got your, your recipe for fresh pasta, that's great. But dry pasta is just as good when it comes to pasta. Yes, you can tell the difference, but only if you're really good you can tell the difference. And here it is. Timer's done. Our noodles are al dente. I'm gonna take those right on over and dump them out. Put some Parmesan cheese on there, and there it is. And that's Ozonated Spaghetti. Now let's make up one plate for y'all. Get your sauce, your noodles, you twist it up. Oh, look at that. Oh, how poor. You do it again. And give your plate a twist. Oh, look at that, towered. Okay, so now this is what we do. Get us a ladle. Ladle here. Some Parmesan cheese on top of there. And Spaghetti Bolognese, Ozonated. Ozonated meat on that. Okay? Alright, thanks for watching the show. And please remember to like, comment, or subscribe. If you got any ideas to anything that you want to see ozonated, please shout out to the God and we will do it. In the 8th day, baby.